Hello, warriors. Welcome to the You movement. I am B, and it's been a doozy of about 24 hours. My God, I believe the solar flares or the Schumann resonance or something's doing something somewhere, and holy moly, purge and pain and suffering. Although at this stage I'm kind of used to it. At last night I was having conversations with God and just saying, like, here you are, you may have it all. I am doing and experiencing this for you because I look at it like I'm here to collect data on what the human experience is so that I can relay that data up to the highest high and they can then upload it onto the mainframe computer of this is what a human experience is. And so there was a lot of heart chakra. Ow! Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. On my awakening path, actually prior to my awakening path, for a period of time, I went to a specialized counselor, a somatic therapist. Highly recommend, if you're seeking therapy, to find one who specializes in somatic work. And he introduced me to parts works, these aspects of self. And hold on, I dug it out of my oracles box here. He sent me home on a mission to I think he was like, list out your top 10 aspects of self. And me being me, I took it upon myself as a challenge to do a creative project. I wanted an A grade. So I went home, got myself some construction paper, started printing things out, and made myself like what will be I didn't know at the time, of course, but what will be the framework for building my own oracle deck. I had no idea I was building an oracle deck, but I built an oracle deck. So we can see here some images. The scapegoat, what else? The orphan. Obviously, I can't use some of these images and have to do my own art. The artist, there we go. The medicine woman, the perfectionist, the know-it-all. Yes, that is definitely one of the femme fatale. Yes, that used to be me for years. I'm certainly not in my femme fatale right now. I just saw the bitch, the mother. So many different archetypes at play, and these have come in, the mama bear. This has come in very handy for my own getting to know myself. This is me. This is all the aspects of me, and on my awakening path, I've discovered many more. We've become very intimate in the purification process of coming face to face with shadow. Because yes, some of these things might be, nice or fun archetypes, like the punk rock girl. That was me for a number of years. Or the light. I did discover that along my awakening path. But then there's a lot of broken bits and shadow aspects that I've had to come face to face with. The demons. So me, when people talk about demons, it's often our own shadow aspects that are coming up and plaguing us. A lot of that, like, spiritual warfare is the clearing of our own darkness. We're at war with ourselves, people, is who a lot of that war is. And so when light is penetrating the planet with all these solar flares, and we're like in a ball in our bed, crying and fearful and anxious, what we're actually facing is the shadow from within us, not from outside of us. Nobody's sending any bad juju your way. That is stuff that's been not processed throughout your life. So what's been coming up for me in the last, the last month has been a whole heart chakra theme happening. facing my loneliness as I've transitioned into an environment where like I'm like really on my own. It's like Arwen and I. You know, even the last place that I lived in temporarily. So like my circle's gotten smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller to the point where like I really am like living like a hobbit in the woods. Or hermit, sorry, not a hobbit, maybe a hobbit who is a hermit, in the woods, although it's not like very woody, but like it's woody on one side. There's a mobile home beside me, and I see them like to say hi to maybe once per week. And then there's a couple houses down there, and I might see somebody to wave at. But other than that, like I don't have a lot of human interaction at the present moment in time, and that is divinely orchestrated for me to face my shadow, my demons, my fears. And I mentioned in yesterday's video that like one of my core fears is the fear of being alone. And this has been a fear that has plagued me my whole life, and it came into existence. So I want to kind of talk a little bit about my process, the process that I go through when a demon energy or shadow energy is rising. Because first, I sense it in my body. My body experiences aches and pains and discomfort. So chest pain has been like up there lately, and last night it was like, oh, it was pretty bad. And so instead of panicking, instead of distracting, instead of, even though the pull is like, I want to talk to somebody, I need this, you know, like the pull is to do anything but to go within. But that's exactly what I do, is I'm like, right, God damn it, I'm going to sit in this energy, and I'm going to like love on myself in this as much as I possibly can. The art of transmuting trauma is to sit with trauma, to sit in the darkness, to sit in the pain, to sit in the suffering, and give yourself compassion through it. So, you know, we all have healing hands, whether you're trained as a Reiki practitioner or not. Put your hands where it hurts, and focusing intuitively in towards the pain and see what comes up. And what started to come up was an aspect of myself that I had made a card for in my deck here, that I called the void. Now, this isn't to be mistaken with the void that is a stage on your Kundalini awakening. When I made this, I had no idea about that. No, this is a little black hole that lived in my heart space for a very long time, that I call the void. Like I felt like there was a hole inside my chest, and as a smoker who like sucked in a lot of my pain, my shame, my aches, I shoved it all here. It was like a secret portal that I had, that I could shove all my painful experiences so that I could be stoic. I was exceptionally good at pretending that things didn't bother me, because I had learned as a young child that your emotions and your upset could be used against you. You know, it's like, speak now or forever. No, that's a different thing. It's like, say what you're going to say, but know that it can be used against you in a court of law. That's the way it was in my house, is say what you're going to say, but be aware that it's going to be used against you in some way, shape, or form. You're going to be laughed at, ridiculed, manipulated, or, you know, fucked with in some way. So I started to create this like void place where I shoved the shit that I didn't want to deal with. And smoking was a really good tool that I used to suck back the hurts, the aches and pains. So in this void was where I shoved, you know, when I was bullied at school. I shoved it in here, because if I went home and I was like, somebody's bullying me at home, then that would have been used against me. And then I would have been asked, which I was on many occasions, well, what did you do? Well, you're the common denominator, so it must be you. Or if I can remember knocking on a friend's door and hearing them come to the stairs and look through the little peephole and them saying, oh, and then going away and not answering the door. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna just suck that back up. And pretend that didn't bother me. Or, you know, when horrible things happen to me throughout my life, I'm going to suck that up and not share that with anyone either, including the police, who probably should have been informed about those things. Or, you know, when my son's father left me 3 weeks before I gave birth, I better suck that back up too. I better suck up actually just all of the shit. And get used to sucking up all of the shit. And I'm just going to put it here. So when it came time that I was in a very trauma-bonded relationship, and I want to talk about trauma bonds because somebody asked me about that. All of my signals or signs that I was in a trauma bond, all the flags were in the void. I just sucked them up and shoved them into here. All the hurts and all the like, ouch, you know. When somebody does something mean to you, it hurts. So it does. But if you've been taught to override the hurts that you experience and you shove them somewhere, like maybe you're like me and right in the center of your heart, you have this little void space where you just, I'm going to just shove it in there. I'm just going to shove it in there and I'm not going to worry about it. The problem then is you're not living fully your life. Like most of what's happening around you, it's like a form of an out-of-body experience, only it's an inner body experience where you're just sucking it all into this vacuous place. And what happened is eventually it was like a big black hole, and the more I shoved in here, the bigger it got. And the bigger it got, the more it was sucking me up with it. And I was disappearing. Aspects of myself were disappearing down this black hole. And so last night, the black hole and I were in conversation, and I was desperately calling on God to help me out with this one. And the one cure that seemed to help, and it was tough, was just sending more and more love into the hole. And like, oh my God, I love you. Despite this, despite that, I love you. You know, despite the room's a mess, I love you. Despite the fact that you're not as successful as you want it, I love you. Despite the fact that, you know, you're on your own and there's nobody here, I love you. Despite what happened, I love you, I love you, I love you. And the more I just kept shoving love into this void space, the more the void space began to shrink a little bit. Now, I'm not saying it's totally gone, but it's way less overwhelming than where it was last night when it first, I was facing it eye to eye. And this is the thing, is we need to face head on the stuff that is the shadow aspects, the demon aspects of selves. Otherwise, we're not going to heal it. And the void has such a connection, being located in the heart space, and a connection to, you know, the deep desire to be loved. And the problem is, you know, in our society, and it's true, we are taught, you know, human connection is important. Family is important. You only have one of those, so you should just forgive and forget. And, you know, nobody's perfect. So there's a lot of benefits of the doubt that's given to help us hold on to toxic situations that we should long let go of, but we don't let go of them because we're scared if we do, ourselves are going to get sucked into a void of absolute isolation and aloneness. And so my goal is not to manifest myself up a partner so that I can feel less like a void inside of my soul. My goal is to face the isolation and the loneliness so that I don't feel the need to have a partner. That's not to say I don't want one. Absolutely, I would love divine partnership at some point in my life, but as long as I have an active black hole in my heart, I'm gonna attract in somebody that's more than willing to put shitty behaviors into my black hole, because I'm gonna just suck it up and tolerate it. So I need to heal this. I need to heal this space, and the only way to do that is on my own, in isolation, in my hermit era. As long as it takes. And if it takes a day, a week, a month, a year, a decade, so be it. I'm going to surrender myself to this process and send love and love and love, despite the fact that it hurts, and love despite the fact that, you know, it's challenging. And one thing that I recognized on this path is the more I distract, right? Oh, on Facebook, on social media, on talking to friends, on whatever it is, tools that you use to distract, even AI, the less I'm doing the work. So there can be no distractions if you're trying to heal some of these demons that are coming up to visit you. And this one is a core wound for me, the void. And I understand that this void space came into action before I even had the capacity of words. So the void may be connected to abandonment. So I want to talk about the abandonment wound for a minute and give a little bit of background there. So I went through multiple abandonment wounds and traumas from the time I was in my infancy. So the first family member to abandon me would have been my birth father. So he was on scene. This is according to adoption files, as well as the information that I received from both biological parents when I met them in my 30s. So he was on scene attempting to, you know, make a go of an unexpected pregnancy. Hello, me. So already in the womb, there was a knowledge. So I'm sucking up the reality already in the womb that I'm not wanted. I'm not a wanted pregnancy. So there's already a feeling, an energy that I need to suck away. I need to suck that away and tuck it away for my own survival. And then I'm born, and he gets himself into trouble with the use of drugs and assaulting a woman, and ends up in prison. So he does, leaving my mother unable to cope because she was quite young and lacked the capacity to cope on her own. And so for was a period of time I was living in the maternal home, basically being raised in part by my grandmother, and then my grandmother died. So gonna suck some of that pain up. You know, where first there's a masculine presence known as father energy, and that disappears. Then there's an energy known as grandmother energy, and that one disappears. Then there's an energy known as aunt energy, and that one disappears because she too dies. Then there's the energy known as mother and grandfather, and both of them disappear because I go to foster care for the first time, I don't know, close to 2. And then there's so I'm just, as a child, what do you do with all of that? You're pain in your heart of loss, of disappearance, of silence. So silence is exceptionally triggering for me, like crazy triggering for me when somebody all of a sudden just goes silent with no word. You know, that the new concept that is ghosting is It's exceptionally triggering for me, because the feeling of the pain and the inability to communicate means I have nothing else to do but to suck it back into the void. And silence has played out in my life in a really weird way, because I have this void space, this void of energy that's reflected in my outer world. And I've gone through life with most of my relationships reflecting this void place where people just don't respond. Like, you'll send a text and you just don't hear from him at all. Or, you call and that's the way it was with my family. Like, I had no interaction with like any of my extended family through the majority of my life. I think if you put all together, this is my adoptive family, but if you put all together how much time I actually saw them or how much attention they actually gave me in like a 20-year period, it maybe would add up to 20 days. Like, so I was used to like non-energy, like nothingness being provided for me, like no attention, no care. That was my standard. That's what I thought love was. I thought love was something that was nothing, and then it reflected this place inside of me that was like this void, this nothingness. So I tolerated in friendships, in romantic relationships, this mirroring energy of vacuous emptiness of all the things that I actually wanted, to cultivate. And in my awakening path, one after another, I've been called to let go of toxic relationships. And toxic relationships is one form of toxic relationship are these trauma bonded relationships. So because I had this trauma that was a void space, I would tolerate people because I wanted so desperately to fill this void space. But in attracting them, because like attracts like, they too had a void space and they lacked the capacity to, because they weren't whole either. I wasn't whole, they weren't whole. So there was this trauma bond where you play out this almost fantasy of, this time it's going to go my way. This time I'm going to recreate the story and you're going to give me the attention and you're going to give me the affection and you're going to choose me. So a trauma bond is like a reenactment of a wound that you carry with you. So you might repeat over and over and over again the abandonment wound or the emptiness wound, I'm going to call it, this void space, which was just like missing energy. Missing in my marriage, there was the missing energy of care, of respect, of dignity, of truth, of honor, because, and every time there was something missing, any hurt that I would get from not receiving the deprivation, I'd be like, oh, just suck it in. Just suck it into here. Just suck it in. Everything's fine. I'm just going to keep sucking it in here. And of course, this just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until we're finally going to sit and face the fact that no one can fill this. There isn't a person on this planet that can fill this. The only one that can heal this is me with the help of God, with the help of spirit, of sitting and the assistance of being like, I rely on spirit and God to hold space for me while I process myself. So it was a matter of like, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. I'm going to just keep pumping more and more love into this void space. And I'm sorry, I am sorry, I am sorry, I am sorry, I am sorry. So oftentimes the trauma bonds that we develop or we cultivate in our life is because it's reflecting to us in the opposite energy a wound that feels familiar. it feels like this is a known situation. So for example, my ex, which was the worst trauma bond possible, he showed up in energy very similar to my mother, often, so it's playing out that, maybe this time I'm going to earn the love, the respect that maybe this time. So it's playing out a shared fantasy that's like all kinds of fucked up, thinking that, this time it's going to be different. This time I'm going to get my needs met. This time it's going to work out. But the point of it is to learn that this time I'm going to walk the fuck away and I'm going to do it myself. That's how you break a trauma bond, is letting go of the expectation that anyone outside of you can fill this void or heal this anguish or cure this rage or, soften the grief. Nobody outside of you can heal your wounds. They can't. And instead, in my situation, I had this lovely twin flame situationship come along that exacerbates or pokes at you energetically. Once I had my Kundalini, it like opened me to like clear out. It was like he's like the antidote to all of these things. Now, he himself isn't. It's not like he's showing up and going, let's discuss some of your saboteur behaviors. That's not what's happening. Energetically, the Kundalini happens because of this like divinely orchestrated partnership that, and I shouldn't use the word partnership. I'm going to say ascension partnership, because they open the door, they light the match, they are the whistle that kicks into motion something that happens inside of you energetically to help you face all of these aspects of selves. And any one of these traumas can result in a trauma bond that you have with someone. So for me, the void was my reflection of all the friendships that I had that responded me in silence. And would be like, they would show up once in a blue moon and it'd be like, oh, we're the type of friends that don't need to talk every day or anything. Seeing each other once a year or once every 3 years, that's good. So that's what I thought friendship was. I was like, oh, friendship is not seeing each other or talking to each other. It's a void of space in between. It's a silence. So I would love people that I hadn't seen for 5 years, 10 years. And it was very weird. As I'm facing this, I got a text message from a woman that I was friends with in university that dropped me like a hot potato. And she showed back up going, I'm really sorry that I fell out of your life. I was busy doing whatever she was doing. And I was like, okay, that's weird timing. Here I'm healing this wound that is the silence, the void, the nothing, the absolute absence of person. And I'm getting somebody apologizing for it at the exact same time for that exact wound. I've had so many people in my life that were friendships of convenience. You lived near each other, and so you were available to them when they needed you, and then when they didn't need you anymore, you were dropped like a hot potato. And I through my awakening, I started to observe, this toxic habit of mine to like tolerate friends that weren't really friends. They were acquaintances that were pleasant in certain time situations and then fell away when I was no longer an inconvenience for them. And so any feelings I had about that, I would just suck up. And I was like, no, this isn't working for me anymore. I'm going to cut this type of energy off, and I'm going to just sit with myself and send myself some love into this hole. And so I've been on this self-love healing journey for 4 years, since my Kundalini back in September of 2021. And I'm like, I need to figure out how to heal all my wounds and heal this one. So sending a lot of self-love is the way. Right? Because there is nobody outside of myself that's going to heal this shit for me. It doesn't work like that. So it doesn't. And I got a lot. I got a deck here of stuff to work through. And so that's required me to be in total isolation. Like, I don't have any friends locally. I have lovely friends online, which is fabulous, and that I talk to once in a blue moon, but like, well, more than that, like once a week at least. But I don't have a huge social engagement or interaction world right now. My spiritual world, you know, has had me in the last week out doing things in society again, but at the same time, I'm still very detached. And there's a reason for that, is so that I can shift the focus out of, you know, needing people to fill the void, filling the void myself, so that being on my own is no longer lonely. It is simply solitude. Like, that's my goal. Like, I want to be the type of person or the type of woman that doesn't need a man. I never want to marry again. I don't believe in marriage. I've done it twice, and that's a hard no for me. I think that it is a failing system that has more problems than it has solutions. And when I look at the world, and think of how relationship would be something I would respect. You know, I love the idea. So if I could manifest this, I'd be happy. I love the idea of living apart together. So a committed relationship that meets, like, sacred sexuality, that meets all of the chakras in alignment, with fidelity and commitment and love and fun and understanding and service. But you got your space and I got mine. And within that framework, I'm at peace with it. You know, I feel good about it. I want to be the type of woman that's self-sufficient, sovereign, standing on her own 2 feet, financially secure, independent, capable, and doing all of these things. So I've been forced to face all of my fears that have kept me in codependent relationships in the past, that made me tolerate, you know, that allowed this to exist. I need to do the healing work within me, so that I'm no longer, you know, making decisions based upon the please fill this void for me place. I'm making decisions based upon, I don't have a void. I'm all healed in this area. So yeah, let's hang out and have some conjugal visits and have a laugh and have a holiday and do some tours together. And then you go wash your laundry and I'll wash my laundry, and you pay your bills and I'll pay my bills, and, you know, peace. That's what I want. I would like that type of a situation. And I read a long time ago that part of the twin flame journey is all about redefining what relationship looks like. Because the fact of the matter is, relationship in society right now, for the most part, looks like shit. Like, it's not something that I want. What I see is a lot of couples that are together that shouldn't be together, that aren't happy in no stretch of the imagination. are sticking it out because, well, it's what I've done and I'm kind of comfortable, and, I'll just shove all my feelings into this void and I'll play the role of the scapegoat if that's necessary. And, it's easier than like ruffling any feathers or whatever. It's financially, I'm kind of secure with my finances in this situation. So I see a lot of toxic relationship that's at play, and then everybody's cheating on everybody, and that's just ick, gross. And so that's like, there's no divine partnership in that aspect. And then everybody is cultivating a greater degree of shame and humiliation with them than themselves, because they know that they're not with a partner that actually they're honoring. And therefore, when they act outside of their own ethical standards, they kind of go, oh, and then they cultivate their own degree of shame cycles and blame cycles within. And never mind, the toxic nature that is sexuality in this day and age, and, all the sex-related addictions that go along with that. These aren't healthy, and nobody is happy or in a place of peace with this. And I've seen a lot of people, try to create things that it doesn't scream to me, I'm genuinely a happy person. And I think that if everybody was a little bit more honest and let go of the notion of, divorce is a failure, for example, like that's not a failure. Escape is one of the best things you can do if you are in a dysfunctional relationship or in something that's unhealthy and toxic and trauma bonded. I think we should promote that more. Let's have more divorce parties saying, all right, you've had the balls to escape from something that you were trapped in and difficult. The history of marriage, it was always a business arrangement. It had nothing to do with love or divine partnership. It had to do with, buying a woman at a very young age so that she could produce heirs, and there was an exchange of money or goats, for her hand in marriage, oftentimes before she was even of age enough to be able to make a decision. It certainly wasn't divine partnerships that were going down, if you look at the history of marriage. And I think that people marry for the wrong reasons. I think a lot of the reasons why people marry is because they've got, or look what's playing right up at the top, they're playing house. Their inner child is playing out some traumatized reenactment of a childhood wound and thinking, this time it's going to be different. This time it's going to work for me. Not realizing that it won't work unless we do the healing work ourselves, within ourselves, and really, change the dynamics, energetics individually, which will then go on to change the dynamics in partnership, which will then go on to change the dynamics within society as a whole. Society as a whole would be a lot happier place if each individual within it was happier. Right? So how are we supposed to change society if we can't even change the relationship dynamic that is dysfunctional, that we all participate in? No, I'm not saying all marriages are bad. There's some great marriages out there, great partnerships, and people are creating new ways that work for them. And I think that's great when they do, after they've done the healing work and attract in a high-ranking soulmate that treats each other with respect, honor, integrity, truth, all of the things that you deserve. But if you're still stuck in an old paradigm in a dysfunctional relationship, if you've been doing it for 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years, and it hasn't changed yet, it's not going to. It's not going to. It would have changed in year 1 if it was meant to change. It won't. You're just doing the same thing over and over and over again. And listen, I know how hard it is. For 15 years, I was like, maybe it'll change. Maybe it'll change. Maybe if I work a little bit harder. Maybe if I just suck it all up. Suck up all my pain. Maybe if I just suck it all up, I'll tolerate it, and it'll get a little bit better. But it doesn't, because it just kept feeding. It just kept feeding the void. And so here I am 4 years later, after finally escaping. I'm coming up to my 4-year anniversary when I asked for my divorce. And I'm going to celebrate that. December the 15th is that date. And I'm going to celebrate that it took me 4 years, and I did it. And, I'm healing this that was in me that allowed that partnership to exist as long as it did. So I guess today's video, I kind of danced around a little bit in a circle there, but if you are feeling pain, aches and pains and sorrows and grief, sit in it. Just sit in it. We've got another month and a half of 2025, which is all about clearing out all of the shadowy energies. So face them. So I'm facing the void. I don't know what you're facing right now. And then next year, things are going to get a little bit more faster forward moving in a lighter place, because I'm not going to be carrying all this shit with me. I won't, it'll be healed. It is possible to heal your traumas. Each of these, the more you sit in them, the more you do the work. It is possible. I'm living proof. In 4 years, the transformation that I've gone through is like crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. I am so weirdly grateful for this Kundalini awakening, this twin flame journey, that kicked that into motion. Because what I've done in 4 years is astronomical in comparison to the 30 years prior in trying to heal this shit. All the regular mainstream ways that tried to heal it. And the main things that I can tell you is, if you want to heal it, you got to sit in it. You got to sit in it. You cannot distract. There is no medication. There is no something outside of you or someone outside of you that's going to magically make it all better. You got to sit in it. Sit in the suffering and call in God and put your hands to your heart or your belly or your knee or your head or wherever is hurting you, and just fully commit to facing your shadows and seeing yourself and loving on yourself. Our demons, the void isn't to be hated, it's to be loved and given some compassion. I'm so sorry, and I am so sorry that silence became synonymous with love for me. That I thought that silence, that's what I thought love was. And it's not nice to know that that's not what love was, because that means all the people that were treating me with silence weren't actually treating me with love. And that hurts. It hurts, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. And so there's going to be some grief involved when we see the truth. But I would always much rather have the truth and deal with the truth than deal with lies. So I would. So to everybody else out there that I know is getting squeezed and their shadow is coming out right now, I'm sending you all my absolute love, and you have my compassion, and thank you very much for all the likes, the shares, the comments. I will try to get around to the other videos that people have asked me about. as quickly as I can. I've been very exhausted today. Dealing with the void was tiring work. So I will get around to them. Thank you, and thank you. And peace, peace, peace in, peace in, peace in here, peace. Send peace and love and compassion. Peace, love, and compassion. Lots of that. Mwah.